Okay, so get this, everybody. Today we are diving deep into AI and ERP.
AI and ERP.
That's right, ERP. That system, it's like the nervous system, right?
Yeah.
Keeps companies running, managing all that stuff from finances to the supply chains, which we're hearing so much about. We've got a ton of fascinating research here, articles, reports, and it looks like ERP, well, it's come a long way.
Oh, yeah.
From like, I don't know, basic inventory, like back in the 60s, just keeping track of stuff,
Right.
to now it's like handling these massive amounts of data in real time. But the really big question is, can AI make ERP even, I don't know, even smarter?
Yeah.
Can machines actually run the show?
It's not just a simple upgrade. It's really a fundamental shift, a total shift in how businesses can operate. Imagine, like, your company's ERP, it's structured, it's a system, but what if it had an AI brain?
Right.
And it could learn, and it could adapt. It could be constantly finding ways to optimize everything.
Okay, hold on. That sounds kind of wild, but like, for those of us who don't speak fluent, tech, break it down. How would that learning actually work?
Well, take machine learning.
Okay.
Your ERP, it already crunches tons of data,
Right.
right?
Has to.
But with AI, it can start to see patterns we humans might miss. It's kind of like that whole Moneyball idea, but for your whole business.
Hmm.
So your ERP could figure out ideal pricing, or maybe even predict when a customer is about to leave, jump ship.
Right.
Even spot those hiccups in the supply chain before they become like major headaches.
So it's not just about like saving a few bucks here and there.
No, no.
It's making decisions that could like change the whole game.
Exactly. Exactly. And think about like the ripple effect there.
Yeah.
So your employees are freed up from all that tedious stuff. They can focus on the things that need, the human touch,
Correct.
creativity, strategy, building those relationships.
I like it. So it's a win for everyone. I'm seeing here in the research that some companies are using AI-powered ERP, and they're getting some pretty dramatic results. I mean, is this like, are we talking real improvements, or is this just marketing hype?
Oh, these are real.
Okay.
Real companies are seeing real results. We're seeing companies cut their forecasting errors by 20–30%. They're reducing inventory, that stuff they're stuck with, by 15–25%. They're even speeding up how fast they do their finances by like 60–80%. And that's just the measurable stuff.
Wow, those are some impressive numbers. Hard to argue with that. But I'm guessing it's not like a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. You can't just like sprinkle AI on any old ERP and expect miracles, can you?
You got it.
Yeah.
The magic really comes in when you figure out where AI can make the biggest impact for your specific needs, right?
Right. Makes sense.
So for some companies, it's all about like supply chain mastery.
Oh.
Imagine the AI is looking at everything, global weather patterns, what people are talking about on social media, to predict what materials you'll need and exactly when you'll need them.
So no more scrambling for parts like last minute.
Yeah.
Or worse, ending up with like warehouses full of stuff you just can't sell.
Right. Or picture this. AI is constantly checking the data from factory sensors,
Okay.
predicting those equipment breakdowns weeks before they happen. I mean, that's huge for preventing costly shutdowns.
Yeah, it's like having a crystal ball for your business.
That's it.
You can see the problems before they even
All right,
happen.
now you're getting it. And the best part is, like, AI can be applied to pretty much every area of ERP.
Yeah.
Finance, HR, production, customer service. I mean, the potential is vast.
Okay, this is all sounding pretty amazing, but I'm hearing this little voice in my head, saying, "Hold on, what's the catch?
Right.
This can't be as easy as just like flipping a switch, right?"
Well, you're right to be cautious. It does take some planning.
Okay.
Implementing AI-powered ERP successfully, it's like building a house. You need a solid foundation first.
All right, so what are the building blocks here? Where do we even start?
One of the key things is to start small.
Okay.
Maybe with a pilot project in a specific area.
Yeah.
This lets you, test the waters, get people comfortable with the idea, and show the value before you go all in.
I like it.
Yeah. So, we were talking about starting small and testing the waters.
Yeah.
Let's look at how some companies are already using AI-powered ERP.
Okay.
Some pretty incredible results.
Yeah, I was looking through the research and I saw some really interesting case studies.
Yeah.
Like let's dive into those.
Okay. So picture this. A major car parts manufacturer.
Yeah.
They were struggling, production delays and all these quality control issues.
Right.
So they implemented an AI system.
Okay.
It could analyze all their equipment data, historical performance,
Uh-huh.
even current orders,
Right.
and it would fine-tune their production schedules.
So it's like the AI was acting like a super efficient production manager.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay.
So within a year and a half, they saw a 35% reduction in all those delays, those frustrating delays,
Right.
and a 28% drop in defects.
Right.
Their equipment, they were using it 22% more effectively.
Hmm.
And but here's the really cool part.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Their AI system could actually predict equipment failures like up to 2 weeks in advance
Wow.
by spotting patterns in the performance data.
Really?
So this allowed them to just schedule maintenance, during the planned downtime.
Okay.
They slashed unplanned downtime by 35%.
Wow.
Talking about like a proactive approach.
Yeah.
Did this actually save them money?
I would imagine, right?
Big time. They saved an estimated $4.2 million per year
No kidding.
just on proactive repairs.
Wow.
That's the power of AI, right? It's turning that scramble, that reactive scramble, into a smooth, predictable process.
Yeah. That's pretty powerful. Can this kind of, I don't know, AI magic, can it work in other industries too?
Yeah,
What about retail?
absolutely. Think about like a large online retailer.
Okay.
I mean, their biggest challenge is inventory, right?
Yeah.
They're either overstocked and wasting money, or they're running out of the popular stuff and their customers are disappointed.
Right. Right. Classic problem.
So they implemented an AI system,
Okay.
and it analyzes a crazy amount of data, past sales, social media trends, even things like weather forecasts, local events.
So it's like their AI was like a master trend predictor.
Mm-hmm.
It was keeping them ahead of the curve.
Keeping them ahead of the curve.
Did it work?
The results were impressive. They cut inventory costs by a third
Wow.
while still having the right products 99.5% of the time.
So they were saving money and keeping their customers happy.
Yeah.
That's a tough balance to strike.
It is. It is. And, because their forecasting was so accurate, they cut their markdowns by 28%.
Really?
And they saw a 15% jump in full price sales.
Mm.
That's real business impact.
Okay, so AI is a game changer. I'm seeing that for manufacturers, retailers.
Yeah.
But what about industries like healthcare? Can AI deliver value in a field that's so complex,
Yeah.
so sensitive?
It definitely can. Think about like a busy hospital network, right?
Right.
Constantly struggling with, resource allocation, patient scheduling,
Right.
managing all those crucial medical supplies.
Of course, yeah.
So they integrated AI into their ERP system.
Oh,
The AI started analyzing patient records, appointment histories, even demographic data
wow.
to predict things like no-show rates.
Interesting. So the AI was basically helping them optimize their operations.
Yes,
Using data to make things run smoother.
exactly.
Okay.
They reduced patient wait times by 40%,
That's huge.
and they were able to use their resources 25% more effectively.
So shorter wait times for patients, better use of resources for the hospital.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
Win-win. What about the supply chain side?
Yeah, what about that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be super important in healthcare.
Absolutely. The AI was able to predict their supply needs based on, upcoming procedures and historical usage patterns.
Okay.
This resulted in a 30% reduction in supply chain costs,
Really?
while still making sure they had all the critical supplies, 99.9% of the time.
Wow. Which is essential in healthcare. I mean, you can't afford to run out of those life-saving materials.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've seen AI working its magic, manufacturing, retail, healthcare. What about the financial world?
Yeah, AI is making big waves there too.
Okay.
Take, for example, an investment management firm,
Right.
They were trying to get an edge
Right.
in portfolio management, in client services.
Yeah.
So they implemented AI that could analyze market data, economic indicators, client information, and do it all in real time.
So was the AI basically acting as a team of superpowered analysts?
You could say that. They were able to cut their transaction processing time in half,
Really?
improve their compliance accuracy by 40%,
Wow.
and reduced operating costs by 28%.
Those are some serious gains. Was there anything else that kind of stood out in this case study?
One of the coolest features was the system could automatically flag potential compliance issues
Really?
before any trades were even executed.
Wow.
So this helped them reduce compliance-related incidents by 75%,
Huge.
while also speeding up their trading operations.
Yeah, which is crucial in finance, right?
Yeah,
It's such a fast-paced world, highly regulated.
exactly. It's all about managing risk and staying ahead of the game.
Right. So these case studies, I mean, they're pretty impressive, but are there some like key takeaways here, like that apply across the board?
Yeah, one of the big things is companies that really prioritize their data quality before they even jump into AI. They
Right.
tend to see faster results
Makes sense.
and a much higher return on their investment.
So it's about making sure your data is clean, it's accurate, well organized
Yeah.
before you unleash the AI.
You got it. It's like building a house on a solid foundation.
Right, right, right.
And just as important, is managing the human side of things.
Oh, of course.
You need to bring your employees along on this journey, right?
Yeah.
Address their concerns,
Right.
provide the right training,
Okay.
and really highlight how AI can actually make their jobs easier, more fulfilling.
So it's about making sure your people they feel empowered by AI, not threatened by it.
Precisely. And on the technical side, companies that built flexible systems, scalable systems
Okay.
that could handle both, those traditional ERP tasks and those demanding AI workloads,
Right.
they tended to see smoother performance, a lower total cost of ownership.
So it's about having the right infrastructure to support this AI revolution.
It is. And a lot of companies found that cloud-based implementations,
Yeah.
allowed for faster deployment and greater flexibility when it came to scaling those AI capabilities.
Yeah. The cloud seems to be the way to go for a lot of businesses these days.
Okay.
But regardless of like the specific tech, it seems like a common theme here is those pilot programs we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Right.
Starting small, proving the value,
Right.
refining your approach before you scale up. That's a smart strategy.
I like it.
The companies that followed this approach, they had a much higher success rate when they eventually rolled out, those full-scale implementations.
Yeah, it's like testing the waters before you dive in head first.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
But, beyond all the technical stuff,
Yeah.
we've got to remember the human side of this whole AI ERP integration.
Of course.
How has it affected the people that are actually using these systems?
That's a great point. I mean, it's not just about the technology.
No.
It's about the people.
It's about the people, and the case studies show, the companies that involve their employees in the whole process,
Okay.
getting their input, addressing their concerns, providing clear career development paths.
Right.
They led to much higher employee satisfaction rates with
Yeah.
these new AI systems.
Yeah. It's about making sure people feel like they're part of the solution,
Yeah.
not being replaced by it.
Exactly. And that initial fear of job displacement,
Right. Which a lot of people have.
it tends to fade away as employees actually see how AI can help them
Right.
augment their capabilities.
Right. It's like AI is taking over the tedious stuff, the repetitive tasks, freeing up humans to focus on more strategic, creative work.
Exactly. And as we look ahead, these case studies, they kind of hint at some exciting trends that are coming.
Oh yeah, like what?
We're seeing a shift towards edge computing, for example,
Okay.
for real-time processing. Increased automation of, routine decisions and a greater integration of, all those external data sources
Right.
into these systems.
So the evolution of AI-powered ERP it's far from over.
Not even close. We're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Okay. So much potential.
So much potential. But before we get too carried away, with all the amazing possibilities,
Yeah.
we need to talk about the elephant in the room,
Okay, which is
risk management
yeah.
and governance.
Right, of course. Yeah, AI it's a powerful tool.
It is.
And with great power comes great responsibility.
That's right.
How do we make sure that AI is being used responsibly
Yeah.
within these systems, which are so complex?
That's the big question. One of the challenges is that AI systems, they're constantly learning, adapting,
Right.
which means they can behave in ways that we don't expect.
Right. It's not like traditional software
No.
where you write the code and it just executes the same way every time.
Exactly.
With AI, there's an element of unpredictability.
There is.
So how do you manage that unpredictability?
Yeah.
How do you make sure that the AI is making the right decisions?
Well, robust monitoring is key.
Okay.
You need systems in place to track how the AI model is performing, Look for any unusual patterns.
Right.
Flag any decisions that just fall outside of the expected parameters.
So it's like having a safety net.
Like I was taking it, and you need clear protocols for human intervention.
Right, right,
Like, when should a human step in
right.
and override the AI?
Yeah.
Who has the authority to do that?
Right.
These are all important questions that you have to answer up front.
Yeah, it's not about just letting AI run wild.
Yeah,
It's about having the right oversight, the right controls.
exactly. And data governance becomes even more crucial with AI-powered ERP. You're dealing with, tons of data, often sensitive information,
Right.
and you need to make sure the data is accurate,
Uh-huh.
secure,
Okay.
and used responsibly.
So it's about handling that data with care,
Yeah,
making sure it's used for good, not for harm.
right. So we've covered a lot of ground here, from successful implementations to risk management.
Yeah, we have.
But our sources also highlight some interesting challenges
Oh, okay. Like what?
related to integrating AI with existing ERP systems.
Right, right.
Because a lot of businesses have older systems,
Oh, right.
they just weren't designed for the demands of AI.
Yeah, that was something I was wondering about.
Mm.
How do you bridge that gap
Okay.
between the legacy systems and this new era of AI-powered ERP?
Yeah, it's a common hurdle. A lot of older systems, they just can't handle the volume of data
Right, right.
and the complex calculations that AI requires.
Right. So it's almost like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah.
And then there's the issue of what they call technical debt, years of customizations,
Mhm.
patches that have
Mhm.
been layered on top of these old systems,
Yeah.
creating this tangled mess.
Right.
That's difficult to modify, to integrate with new technologies.
It sounds like a nightmare for IT departments.
It can be. And then there's the challenge of accessing the data.
Okay.
Legacy systems often store data in formats that just aren't compatible with modern AI systems.
Right.
It's like trying to translate an ancient language.
Wow.
You need to find a way to extract that data, clean it up, and convert it into a format that the AI can actually understand.
So it's not just about the AI itself.
No.
It's about making sure that your data infrastructure is up to the task as well.
That's right. And system performance is another consideration.
Yes.
Right. AI workloads can be very demanding,
Right.
And many legacy systems, they just can't handle that kind of processing power.
Right.
You might need to explore things like edge computing, for example,
Okay.
or create, separate environments for your AI so you don't bog down your entire system.
So it's not as simple as just installing some AI software and calling it a day.
Definitely not. You really need to assess your existing systems,
Okay.
understand their limitations, and come up with a strategic approach to integration.
Right.
This might involve phased implementations,
Okay.
hybrid architectures, maybe even a complete overhaul in some cases.
Right.
Yeah.
It sounds like a complex process. Like you really need a lot of expertise.
It can be. But luckily, there are experienced consultants out there, tech providers,
Right.
who can help companies navigate all these challenges, and the rewards can be substantial.
So I'm definitely hearing a theme here. Careful planning, a strategic approach, and the right expertise are really crucial for success with AI-powered ERP.
Absolutely. It's not a quick fix,
Right.
a magic bullet.
Right.
It's a journey
It is.
that requires a well thought out plan.
Yeah, good point. Good point. So I'm curious to hear now what does the future hold? I mean, what's next for AI-powered ERP?
Yeah, this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Fasten your seatbelts, because we're about to take a peek into the future of business.
All right. So you were saying we're about to take a peek into the future of business.
We are. The future of AI-powered ERP, it gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm ready. What kind of possibilities are we talking about here?
Well, one of the most fascinating trends is autonomous ERP systems.
Autonomous.
You see, these systems go way beyond simple automation. We're
Yeah.
talking about true operational autonomy. They can make complex decisions, adjustments, without any human intervention.
So these ERP systems, they could practically run themselves.
That's the idea. Imagine a system that, detects a supply chain disruption,
Right.
evaluates all the different options,
Okay.
implements the best solution, all while keeping the right people informed.
Wow.
And this level of autonomy, it could extend to every area of ERP.
Mm.
Finance, production, creating systems that are constantly learning, improving.
It's amazing, but it's also a little bit, I don't know, scary.
Yeah.
What kind of technology would even make that possible?
Well, edge computing is a big part of it.
Edge computing.
It allows for real-time data processing, bringing that computing power closer to the source of the data.
Okay.
Think about like a factory floor.
Okay.
Machines are generating tons of data every second.
Right.
With edge computing, those AI algorithms can analyze that data instantly and make decisions right there on the spot.
So it's like having AI brains embedded right there on the factory floor,
That's it.
making split-second decisions.
Exactly. This is especially important in environments where, even a tiny delay can make a big difference.
Yeah.
Edge computing also allows AI systems to work in places where they have limited internet connectivity,
I see.
like a remote oil rig or an overseas factory.
So the AI is breaking free
Breaking free.
from the constraints of traditional computing.
That's right.
I'm seeing here in the research that something called cognitive automation is also taking a big leap forward. What exactly does that mean?
So right now, a lot of AI systems, they rely on those machine learning models that are good at finding patterns in data.
Okay.
Cognitive automation, it goes beyond just pattern recognition.
Okay.
It's about AI that can understand context,
Right.
figure out cause and effect, even reason like a human.
So it's AI that can think critically, solve problems like an experienced professional.
That's the goal. These cognitive systems, they'll be much better at handling, unexpected situations, dealing with exceptions, making judgments based on a deep understanding of how the business works.
That sounds like a whole new level of AI intelligence.
It is.
But what about the way we interact with these systems?
Yeah.
Are we still going to be stuck with, those clunky interfaces that take forever to navigate?
Well, that's where those natural language interfaces come in.
Okay.
So AI-powered ERP systems of the future, they'll be able to understand us much better. We'll be able to talk to them naturally, ask complicated questions, get answers specific to our needs.
So instead of battling with menus and commands,
Right.
I could just have a conversation with the ERP system.
Exactly. And these
Right.
conversations will be way more sophisticated than what we have today.
Okay.
The AI, it will understand the context of your questions,
Right.
remember past interactions, even anticipate your needs.
So it's like the difference between, using a basic search engine
Yeah.
and having a conversation with a knowledgeable colleague.
That's a great analogy. Now, it's still early days, but we can't ignore quantum computing.
Quantum computing.
Quantum computing, it could completely revolutionize certain aspects of AI-powered ERP,
Really?
especially those super complex calculations and optimization problems.
Quantum computing, that sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It does, but it's becoming a reality much faster than people realize. Imagine being able to optimize your entire supply chain from raw materials to delivery in a fraction of the time it takes today, or running incredibly complex financial simulations
Wow.
to predict market trends with pinpoint accuracy.
It sounds like quantum computing could unlock a whole new level of business intelligence.
It definitely has that potential. And let's not forget about extended reality,
Extended reality.
which includes, augmented and virtual reality.
Okay.
These technologies are going to change the way we visualize and interact with business data.
So instead of just looking at, boring spreadsheets and reports, we could actually step into a virtual world
Yes,
and experience our data firsthand.
exactly. Imagine a maintenance technician, using augmented reality glasses to see real-time data about a piece of equipment
Okay.
overlaid on their actual view.
Wow.
Or a planning team using virtual reality to walk through a 3D simulation of their entire supply chain.
It sounds like extended reality could make even the most complex data, much more intuitive, much more engaging.
Absolutely. It's about bringing that data to life, making it accessible to everyone in the company. And then there's blockchain technology.
Yeah, blockchain.
Blockchain, it could provide much greater security and transparency for ERP systems.
I usually hear about blockchain in the context of, cryptocurrencies. How does it apply to ERP?
Well, imagine a world where every transaction, every decision made by an AI-powered ERP system is recorded on a secure and unchangeable blockchain. It would create this rock-solid chain of trust and accountability. Super important for things like supply chain management, financial transactions.
So it's like having a permanent, tamper-proof record of everything that happens within the ERP system.
That's the idea. It could completely change the way we think about security and transparency in business.
It's amazing to think about all these emerging technologies and how they'll shape the future of AI-powered ERP. But as
Huh.
we embrace all this innovation, we can't forget about the human element.
No.
What are some of the trends in human AI collaboration?
Well, that's a crucial point. AI systems of the future, they're going to be designed to work in harmony with humans.
Okay.
They'll understand our work habits, our preferences, even our limitations.
Mm,
Imagine an AI system that can adapt its suggestions, based on your individual skill level and experience.
so it's like having an AI assistant that knows your strengths and weaknesses,
Yeah.
and it can tailor its support accordingly.
Exactly. It's about creating a true partnership between humans and AI,
Right.
where each one is using their unique strengths to achieve better results.
That's a really exciting vision.
It is.
But as AI becomes more advanced, how do we make sure that it's used ethically, responsibly?
Yeah, that's the big question that we need to address. We need to develop strong ethical frameworks for AI development and deployment. We need to think carefully about issues like bias, transparency, accountability.
It's like we're creating the rules for a whole new way of doing business.
In a way, we are, and it's a huge responsibility. We need to take it seriously. We need to make sure these AI-powered systems are used to benefit everyone,
Right.
not just increase profits.
Right, for the greater good.
Yeah.
Well said, well said.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are the key takeaways here for our listeners who are trying to understand this rapidly changing landscape?
I would say, first, embrace the transformative potential of AI-powered ERP. It's not just a simple technology upgrade. It's a whole new way of doing business.
Right.
Second, invest in those foundational elements: data quality, strong governance, a culture that embraces innovation.
Yeah.
And finally, never forget that human factor.
Right.
AI should be used to augment and empower people, not replace them.
I like it. Good advice. Good advice. We've covered so much today, from the history of ERP to the mind-blowing possibilities of autonomous systems, quantum computing, and beyond.
Yeah.
It's clear that AI-powered ERP isn't just a passing trend.
Yeah.
This is a revolution.
It is.
It's changing the way we work.
It's a really exciting time to be involved in this field. I can't wait to see how these technologies continue to evolve and reshape the business landscape.
Me too.
Me too.
As always, we encourage our listeners to explore further, ask questions, imagine the possibilities. The future of AI-powered ERP it's full of potential. It's up to all of us to shape it in a responsible way.
Well said. It's been great diving deep into this topic with you today.
Likewise. Likewise. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep pushing the limits of what's possible.